Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. We are back for another United Daily Live, and football is coming home. Kinda, a little bit, behind closed doors. No fans in the arena. Elite football isn't used to be played behind closed doors and without fans, unless it's at the Etihad. But it is coming back, and not only have the Premier League confirmed that their fixtures will return in the middle of June, but the FA Cup will also recommence this time next month. And Manchester United fans who maybe thought, a chance to win the FA Cup may be gone. They might scrap it. They might not bring it back. Well, actually, they are bringing it back. And we're in the last 8 with Norwich. We got Norwich, potential FA Cup semi-final, then a potential FA Cup final as well in August, which would be played before the beginning of the campaign and once the rest of the Premier League is finished. So we'll get all the updates on the Premier League, the FA Cup, all of that good stuff returning, even if it is behind closed doors. It's going to give us something to speak about here on AdamMcKola TV, isn't it? So we'll make sure we're getting all that, we're getting the news, and there's 5 fixtures as well, which are going to be played at neutral venues. So then the Premier League has not allowed some of those fixtures to be played at their home stadiums, even if they are behind closed doors, because of the threat of fans building up outside. Now, we obviously know Liverpool, they're going to win the league. Be fair to the bastards, they deserve it, but they're going to win the league. So you look at that, and their fixtures, a couple of them, and you know, I think the Merseyside derby and things like that aren't going to be played at their usual venues. They're going to be moved to neutral venues, and Manchester United's trip or game against Sheffield United will also be at a neutral venue as well. And when you consider, obviously, a lot of things change in terms of home advantage, away, you know, all those kind of things. United played Sheffield United and got a 3-3 draw at their home ground at Bramall Lane, where their fans would have played a big part in it. Now, United chasing for a top 4 spot with them would come up against Sheffield United in a neutral venue, so no home advantage and no fans either. So it definitely changes the kind of, you know, the advantages that teams will be given with home advantage and or fans as well. But ultimately, getting football back is what the game needs, whether that's just for money, financial reasons, it's what the game needs. So, you know, we'll be looking at that, seeing what fixtures are coming up first and all that good stuff. Getting your thoughts on Project Restart. As I said, Sheffield United is at a neutral venue. United could be keeping hold of Jadon Sancho until January. Yes, we'll be looking at those reports as well as the latest on Angel Gomez. So make sure you're keeping your comments all coming in. I can see Steve, I can see Glenn in the comments, I can see Joshua Mercer, Ross, Sean, Callum, Nornihal, Damien, everyone, Indiana, Abdullah. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Gary as well, Ark Laganda Production. And before we move on with this story and with all the news from today, I want to thank a couple of people, because yesterday when we went off the show, obviously we were on 60 members. We're now on 62 or 63 members, sorry, can't count, and that's thanks to Tommy Edgar, Rory and Out of Order Production. And I've just clocked what that says. It's spelled OUTAVAWDA. And when I writ it down and when I read it, I thought I didn't hear it until I just said it out loud. And I get it. It's Out of Order Production. So Tommy Edgar, Rory and Out of Order Production, thank you very much for becoming the new members on the channel. Remember, there's a new Discord link in there which was posted in the last 24 hours. So you can go and click on that. If it's expired, then let me know and I'll send you a new one so you can get on the Discord. And of course, there's that exclusive content. One of them's already up, and you got another one coming this weekend as well. You get monthly exclusive content and loads of other features on the channel. So thank you to those guys for becoming the new members on AdamMcKola TV. And remember, to find out more, click that join button. But we are looking at the news that football is coming home and football will be played behind closed doors. And if you see me looking down at my phone, it's because I'm bringing up this story. But let me tell you how I feel about this one. I'm so excited about this. I never thought I would be. I'll be honest. I never thought I would be excited to see football behind closed doors or be looking forward to it. As you, I'm someone that goes to a lot of games, so I'm gonna miss that, traveling to games. You know, being in the stadium, watching it with my brother, my dad, Dean, my friend, just having all that camaraderie and being at the stadium and all. I'm going to miss that an awful lot. Even the journeys there, being stuck in traffic, I'm going to miss all of it. But I'm still excited to get the Premier League football back because it's a sense of normality returning. Now, only if it's safe do I want to see it happen. I don't think we should be risking, players' lives and staff's lives and all that kind of stuff. And I don't think we should be doing that. So only if it's safe, which clearly it must be, if they can go this far. And they seem to have appeased some of those players that had doubts about it as well. But getting some, football back in our lives. Football is an escape for all of us. We use it as an escape from real life issues and real life problems, and we have enough of that these days as it is. I mean, when you just go on social media, it's so depressing at the moment. And football is something that kind of unites a lot of us. It makes us feel happiness, sadness, all these kind of feelings and emotions, but it's a distraction. Football isn't real life, do you know what I mean? Like, it is to all of us. It's a massive passion. It's something that I've, spent a lot of time, money and effort dedicating myself to going and watching United over like the last 20 odd years and 20 plus years. But just having it back, I can't wait. Something to watch, something to talk about, seeing goals going in, seeing United celebrate, having that, that edge. Hopefully it's still there, because I mean, I watched the first German games, and I haven't watched another one since. So the one that I did the watch along on here, I did, and then I haven't watched one since. The German football isn't attractive to me without fans. So I get it. I get those people that say without fans, it's just no point watching. There's no attraction for me there to a neutral game without the backdrop of the support and the noise and all those kind of things. I know the Dortmund and Bayern Munich game was very good. I watched glimpses of it, but I wasn't really... It was on the telly, but I can't say I watched it because I wasn't, proper at it. It was the first game that I watched where Dortmund won, and then since then, not really cared. But I feel like because we have those emotional attachments to Manchester United and to whoever, if you support another club watching this, we'll actively, it'll be a little bit different for us. It'll be a little bit different for us, and I just hope I don't get that same feeling watching United that I have watching the Bundesliga and stuff, where it's just kind of like, yeah, it's good, but something's missing. Something's definitely missing when the fans aren't there. But anyway, the Premier League, they've agreed to return. This was announced yesterday, by the way. They agreed to return, and it's set to resume on June the 17th with Aston Villa at home to Sheffield United and Man City hosting Arsenal. So these are two games that are games in hand, and they were supposed to be played the weekend of the League Cup final. So because Villa and City were in the League Cup final, they didn't play these fixtures. So once these fixtures are played, every team has 9 games left each, and everyone would have played the same amount of games. And then I think on that Friday, United will be playing Spurs. Had no confirmation on the definite yet, but it's been rumoured that that's that slot that United would be in on the 19th of June, which was rumoured as the potential start date for all the Premier League and things. So June the 17th is when it starts. Aston Villa at home to Sheffield United, and Man City going to absolutely dick Arsenal, which will be good to watch, wasn't it? The Telegraph also say that during Thursday's Premier League meeting, the majority of the clubs made it known they want the current season to resume on June the 19th, with the hope that it can be concluded by August the 1st. European competitions such as the Champions League and Europa League are set to recommence in August. Now, interestingly for United is, we're in the Europa League. Now, depending how far we get in that competition, the Europa League may end up being like our pre-season for next campaign, because obviously it's going to be competitive and you're going to want to win it, especially if we haven't won the league. Sorry, we're not going to win the league. Haven't got into Champions League through the league. But, the Europa League is going to... Because if the league campaign then, the second one, starts on September the 11th or 12th or something like that, the rumours have been floated around middle of September. So if the league starts then for next campaign, which would be a month late anyway, then... where you getting in a rest and pre-season and all that, you're not really going to have that. So the Europa League is almost going to have to be treated like a pre-season for Manchester United, which is mental. absolutely mental. But it shows you how this whole thing's just going to shift the whole footballing calendar and the sporting calendar. The Olympics and all that are supposed to be about next year. And obviously, at this moment, and the Euros, so they're going to have to finish campaigns in order to be able to allow them campaigns to go on. And so it doesn't affect a third campaign, because they'd like to hope that if they can squeeze the remainder of this and the next one into this space, maybe have less international breaks and things like that, that, eventually you'll be able to fit it all in, and then the calendar will go back to normal, once hopefully the world's back to normal next year or whenever that is. Other great news for fans is all 92 remaining Premier League 2019-2020 games will be broadcast live in the UK. Sky Sports will show 25 of its 64 games free to air. So Sky gets 64 of the 92 games. 25 of those will be free to air. I believe the BBC, so terrestrial television in the UK, even has 4 live games, which is again incredible for them. Amazon Prime and BT Sport is where the rest would be broken down to in the UK. Obviously, if you live abroad or anything like that, your television packages will be different. But every game will be televised for people here in the UK. Now, for those that don't know, in the UK, Saturday 3 o'clock kickoffs cannot be televised. That's because they try to protect the audience figures at lower league sides, so Championship, Division 1, League 1, League 2, etc. They try and protect the audiences at those teams who traditionally, most of their games kick off on a Saturday at 3 o'clock by not televising any of the Premier League fixtures that are played at 3 o'clock or any fixtures at 3 o'clock, which is obviously going to change now. We're going to have football pretty much every day, which I saw a great tweet. Let me find that. It was like, we're going to have football this day, that day, this day, that day. And it was like every single day forever. It was really good. I think Elliot tweeted it. Let me find Elliot. He's always tweeting things. So let me find that. So here we go. Newly confirmed Premier League televised schedule. Monday, a game at 8 p.m. Tuesday, a game at 6 and 8 p.m. Wednesday, 6 and 8 p.m. So 2 more games. Thursday, 6 and 8 p.m. Friday, 8 p.m. Saturday, 12:30, 3 o'clock, 5:30 and 8 p.m. Sunday, 12 to 4:30 and 7 p.m. That's fucking in 7 days, 4, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 games live on your telly every week, it looks like. Football every single day. And that could be for like 6 weeks. Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. We got loads to get through, haven't we? There'll be some games that just don't have the figures. Because I was thinking about this as well. I was talking, Tigo tweeted me on the timeline and made me think a little bit more clearer on the tap. Because I was just, you're just tweeting and thinking out loud. So when it was tweeted yesterday by Jamie Jackson that Premier League clubs agreed at today's meeting to pay the full 330 million rebate wanted by broadcasters over the final 2 seasons of the current deal. And then I tweeted, if the games are being played, why is there a rebate? There's more games on the telly, more people sat at home. Surely that works out better for the TV companies. And then you think of the fact they've lost subscriptions, they've lost advertisers, dropping expected advertising spend, which is what Tigo tweeted us, already paid advertising partnerships having to be paid back, lower expected interest in empty stadium games. And you don't think of that. You see how I got bored of the Bundesliga straight away? If there's football on every single day, 16 games a week, all televised, some of them free to air, the viewing figures on all of those games isn't going to be the same as if they would staggered out over the season. And when you think about it, like those 92 games would have been played over 3 months. March, April, May. How can I just miss out a whole month? March, April, May. Now they're just going to be squeezed into 6 weeks. So instead of getting 3-4 months of subscriptions, they get 1.5, 2 months of subscription. So I understand why the rebate now happens for the Premier League clubs. Although I'm surprised they didn't negotiate it a little bit better. Or maybe they did and they got it pretty good for themselves. But yeah, football's coming home, guys. Even the FA Cup. And I'm excited about the FA Cup because It's one of my favourite competitions. I love FA Cup final day over the years when I was a young kid, and it holds some great memories for us. Even like when we think about under Van Gaal with Jesse Lingard's goal, that is an unreal memory. It's an absolutely unreal memory that we'll never forget. Martial's in the semi-final. I love the FA Cup, so us still being in it is important, and it's so close to the semi-finals stage and the final stage that you want to have a chance at it. The Norwich aren't going to be easy. They're going to have been rested up. They're going to have been being able to refocus, revitalise, probably got themselves out of feeling sorry for themselves in terms of going down potentially. And they could think, let's just go all out for the FA Cup and pull over a shock over United, and you never know what can happen. We've got to hit the ground running. We're going to have, Spurs first up? That's a difficult game, do you know what I mean? So we have to hit the ground running. It's as simple as that. Excuse me. Any other stories, any other news that you guys want me to talk about? Get your comments and your thoughts all in right now. Neutral ground, Wembley grass will be worn out, says Peter Jackson. Inner Soul simply says Viva Igalo. Joshua, no need to apologise, mate. Thank you for joining us today. D-Miz is ready for the season restart. Our target Champions Leagues and winning the FA Cups. Let's do this. Not a bad target, is it? And if you get the Champions League through winning the Europa League, it's not even bad at all. I'm giddy with the thought of football back, says Anish. United will be half celebrating due to the fans not being there, says Ross. I'd actually take a boring LVG 0-0 draw at home to Burnley at the moment, says Sean. And that's how bad it's got. We're wishing for December with LVG. How you doing, Ronald? You're good. You're right. Behind closed doors, you've got to be into the team, says Ollie. I enjoyed the last game. That was empty. UEFA Cup's a bit different, or Europa League, isn't it, Callum? Especially when they go abroad. Because you see it happen so many times due to racism and things like that. Why a low-key game for a neutral venue? Bloody ridiculous. Not like we are playing City, says Paul B. Yeah, don't get that one at all. While the Sheffield United one is at a neutral venue. I understand with the Liverpool ones and the Merseyside derbies and things like that, but that one, it's a bit of a strange one. Are the European competitions going to be played after the domestic league, says Ruvez? Yes, the plans are for those to return in August. So then you get them out of the way in August. Again, what stage? If we beat LASK Lynx, we're into the last 16, is it? Or the last 8? Was LASK in there in the last 16? Can't even remember, man. I'm all over the place. Yeah, it was the last 16. So we've got the second leg of that to come. But then you got round last 8, 2 games, last 4, 2 games, and a final, potentially 5, 6 more games of that, which would be in August. So it'd be like the UEFA would almost be putting on their Euro 2021 with club teams, wouldn't they? Completing the Europa League and the Champions League. So yeah, good times. It looks like we could be keeping AdamMcKola as well, guys, which is good news. Obviously, in the Weekly United yesterday, which if you've missed it, make sure you go and check that out. We heard that, he could be going. He may be going. And the only problem was he probably couldn't return to China until October. But now, Sky Sports reported Shanghai Shenhua are open to Man United keeping the striker until January. It goes on to say, Shanghai are open to allowing Igalo to remain at United until January. United remain in talks with the Chinese club about extending Igalo's loan, which currently ends on Sunday. Border restrictions may prevent Igalo from returning to China in time for the start of the new season in June. If he can't return, the club will look to bring in a temporary replacement. Shanghai Shenhua's original stance was that they would only agree to extend his loan if an obligation to buy was incorporated into the deal. Igalo would be likely to cost upwards of £20 million. It is now thought Shanghai Shenhua will expect Igalo to sign a new contract with them as a condition of him being allowed to stay at Old Trafford. Igalo's current deal in China is up in December 2022. The offer on the table is worth $400,000 a week and would run up until December 2024. But you see, Sky Sports say this, but his agent has refuted that because of the salary caps that are in place. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is hopeful that the club can extend his loan spell so he can finish off what he started. The loan deal went until the end of May now, so obviously he's supposed to be going back. Ollie said, we're in dialogue. They've been great towards us, his club, and allowed him to play for his dream club. It's been a dream for him, and hopefully he can finish off what he started with a trophy for us. At the moment, nothing has been agreed. Their league is going to get started soon, so we're just going to wait and see. So that's the latest on AdamMcKola, but he could be staying at Manchester United now until January, which would be great for us, wouldn't it? Any other news, guys? Any other things that you want to hear me talk about today on the United Daily Live? We have that talk over Manchester United ace Angel Gomez as well. Apparently United have offered him a £1.5 million deal worth 30 grand a week, but not yet agreed upon it. Now, the Metro are today reporting that he's in two minds. They've gone, United wonder kid is caught in two minds over his future following interest from rivals Chelsea. The 19-year-old has long been regarded as one of the most promising players in United's academy, and he captained England's under-17s to World Cup glory in 2017 at the age of 16. Alright, a lot of talk, a lot of facts. And then they go on to say, United believe Gomez needs extra time given his slight frame, and Metro.co.uk understands, oh my god, if they're understanding it, an offer is on the table from the club worth around 30 grand a week. Metro are going on like their sources have told them that, when it's every Tom, Dick and Harry saying it on Twitter. United believe this is a generous offer, and it outstrips the offer made to fellow prospect Tahith Chong earlier this season, with a Dutchman penning a 3-year deal on the terms. However, Chelsea's interest has thrown a spanner in the works. According to the Telegraph, Gomez is now in two minds whether to stay at Old Trafford or to join Chelsea on a free at the end of the season. Yeah, you need to just stay at Man United, mate. Oh, my allergies are acting up today. Oh, God. That pollen count's killing me. Whose face is that, Sartak? I recognise it. Is he from Was he a catfish? Steve says the Chelsea link smells like BS to me, and I think Pogba is going to stay as we had been looking good, and with Champions League hopefully on its way. Why not, says Glenn. I think Gomez's future is already decided. We just haven't been told yet. You never know, but I get the feeling he has already agreed to stay, says Mark Atkinson. I get the same feeling with Paul Pogba as well. That one's probably kind of settled. It's just newspapers and things rumbling it on. Arklegander says, what are your thoughts on Jude Bellingham? I'd like Manchester United to sign Jude Bellingham. I always want to see us signing the best young talent. At 16 years old, he could come in, be in the first team, be in the 23s, float around those two, and become a part of the squad. And he's clearly got a lot of talent. You don't be successful in the Championship at the age of 16 if you haven't. It's a very physical, very competitive league. But he needs to step up. He needs to start training with more quality players. And he needs to start playing for a better team. Now, is that going to be Manchester United? Hopefully. But also, you can kind of see how he could end up at Dortmund. Players, it's worked well for players in the past. Jadon Sancho being an example. United may, in that Sancho deal, be asked to back off Bellingham a little bit in order to get a little bit of money or, a little bit of favour in the Sancho deal. And could potentially go back in for him in the next 2 to 3 years. We see what Dortmund do in terms of signing players, developing players, and then selling them on for a lot more money. Now, the talk with Bellingham is going to cost 20 to 30 million pounds. Has Dortmund got that money to make that happen without selling Sancho? So could they do it before selling Sancho? Could we get the Bellingham deal done, then sign Sancho? So they haven't got the funds to make that happen, because Dortmund are going to be affected by this, and they may not see a 16-year-old lad from Birmingham as being the man to spend a lot of their transfer budget on. So their situation could change a little bit because of this. But at the moment, the reports are they're still in for him. And who knows what's going to happen. Fingers crossed it decides on Manchester United, but there's no certainties just yet. Don't see Bruno as a 7. Who said Bruno should wear 7? It's not a bad shout, but they also ruined players like Januzaj. Januzaj was on loan, wasn't he? There. I don't know. I think that's a little bit unfair. I mean, they made Mkhitaryan look good, didn't they? And they've had a lot more successful than a lot more unsuccessful. If I had the choice, Gomez or Bellingham, says Edward. I don't want to lose Gomez. So if you're offering me the choice of losing something that we have or gaining something that we don't have, I don't want to lose what we have. I think Angel Gomez is a massively talented lad who's got a bright future ahead of him, and that needs to be developed at Manchester United. Who's the weak link in United's defence, says Ed Will. So at this moment in time, who's in our defence? Who's in our first choice defence? Luke Shaw, Lindelof, Maguire and Wan-Bissaka. I'd say out of that, Luke Shaw or Lindelof. You can improve on both of them in my opinion. But you've got Brandon Williams there, who has at times has already been an improvement on Luke Shaw. Amar Preet says you can't blame Dortmund on Januzaj. Sancho 7, the 18 suits Bruno, says Sean. Afternoon, Adam. What do you think of Man United looking at Monaco's young striker Pellegrini? Well, I don't know a lot about Pellegrini, for starters. I saw the news linking United with him, so let me just bring that up for you right now, and we can discuss it further. So this was in the Mail. Manchester United are ready to offer Pietro Pellegrini escape route from nightmare spell at Monaco after Italian starlet struggled with injuries following an £18 million move from Genoa. So this is the story. He's had a lot of injuries since January 18, which doesn't, ring great bells for Man United, but he's only 19. He became one of the most expensive 16-year-olds when Monaco paid £18 million for him. However, he's only made 16 competitive appearances for Monaco in 2 years. Now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is ready to offer him a fresh start at Man United. The 19-year-old severely struggled with injuries since moving from Genoa in January 2018, where he became one of the most expensive 16-year-olds in the world after the League One side shelled out 18 million for him. Remember, we bought Hannibal Mejbri for 10 million. However, despite being touted as one of Italy's brightest talents in recent years, Pellegrini has struggled with his fitness, restricting him just 6 competitive appearances for Monaco while scoring 1 goal. Sky Sports Italia say while his injury record may put off other clubs, it appears Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is ready to take a gamble on him and bring him to Old Trafford. He already has several attacking options at the club and tends to alternate between Rashford, Greenwood, Martial and Igalo. However, it seems Solskjaer sees Pellegrini as one for the future who would fill in the void left by Igalo once he returns to China. The forward caused a sensation after breaking through in Italy, where he made his Serie A debut at the tender age of 15. Was it too much too soon for him? Being in a new country as a new lad isn't going to help you either. It's going to be a difficult adjustment to life for him, but he's coming to England then, It's not like he's going back to Italy and we're in his hometown and we're going to look after him. Obviously, we do look after players, but you get what I mean. It's still a lot of newness for him. I haven't seen an awful lot of him. Obviously, I heard a lot at the time when he went to Monaco and he made his debut in the Serie A and things, but I don't know. I don't know whether he's going to be coming to Man United or not, or whether we should or not. I genuinely don't know. But if you look at it, would you take a risk on him? So he's one of the youngest players to play in Serie A. He had all this talent at a certain age. He was going to be, doing all this, that and the other for Italy. He's gone to Monaco for 2 years. He's had a few injuries and it hasn't worked out for him. And you can now pick him up on a cheap at 19 years old and he's still massively talented. It's a no-brainer, really. You may as well go and try it. What's the worst that can happen? You get him on a 1 year, 2 year deal. Happy days. Especially with Igalo going back halfway through. Carlos Vinicius from Benfica as our third striker, says Edward Bamba. We spoke about that before, haven't we? What would be your dream transfer window, says Sartak? Jadon Sancho, Jack Grealish, Thomas Partey, and a Jude Bellingham. And maybe a centre-half as well. Upamecano or someone. That's not going to happen. With that injury record, you'd have to say it's Bull and his agent is probably trying to rejuvenate his career, says Steve. And that is very much a likelihood here. We've got to consider. Maybe by saying United are interested, you get other clubs interested. And we've seen that work for people in the past, haven't we? So, there you go. Good point, Steve. Well made. Guys, Get hitting that like button, get commenting, get sharing, get subscribing, get joining if you can as well. Like I said, thank you to those guys that have joined recently. Tommy, Rory, and Out of Order Productions. Thank you for joining AdamMcKola TV. Make sure you keep it locked. Finishing editing the next exclusive video for you guys. Great. It's giving me some great memories, some great throwbacks, and I've got some great exclusive videos that I took at the time at the games, which I'm going to chuck in as well for you guys. So keep your eyes peeled for the exclusive video over this weekend. I've got loads more content coming your way as well. United Daily Lives live every single day this week. We've got the Football Manager episode 3 episode coming up tomorrow. And we've also got the pod to nowhere as well. So keep it like, comment, share, subscribe. For now, I have been AdamMcKola. You lot have been legends. And guess what? We're out of here.